Let's go. All right, there we go. Had to reset it. Had the wrong music going. Okay, yeah, I'll have to try it out. Yeah, I think this is the only one. All right, so shuffle some things around, and I will just leave that. Okay, so there we go. So I am using plug. Nice. That makes that pretty easy. Let's move this over while we're doing this part. Okie dokie. So I got it going. Got all of that stuff commented, but I probably don't need it to be commented. I think we'll leave it. Okay. Anything else we need to customize? Aha, this is only, yep, okay. Oh, interesting. So if I start the server on my machine, then it's my code that's being edited. Okay. DM Mulroy, are you still out there? Sorry, I just realized I needed to do this too. If anyone wants to leave me a lurk over on YouTube, I would really appreciate it. No worries if not. Yeah, I'm trying to think about like the best way to collaborate with Diamol Royce that he's driving. Realistically, if he started the server, then I could just connect to it. And hey, thanks, Jalu. Appreciate it. All right, so what's up, Lucas? I wonder if VS Code live share would be an option, because he could just use like the Vim key bindings. But no, like he wants to use the editor he wants to use. Like, so no, that's probably not the way. All right, so let's look at this. So we weren't using Discord. We were using Twitch's guest stars feature. But the text was a bit blurry because he was doing like his full screen share. And, you know, Twitch is like mangling it to like compress the video. Because I think they were intending it to be just like the camera, things like that. So we could try using Discord to share the screen. That would be an option too. But a much crisper solution wouldn't be video, it would be just an open editor, right? Okay, so I could just be following along on his code. Probably never want to do instant status. Oh, interesting. I think I'm not gonna get any of his like extensions in there, right? Which would be probably fine. Maybe it shares the whole buffer. I don't know. I think it's worth trying, though. So I could start the server, I could ngrok it up. He could connect to it. Yeah, almost need to just like fiddle with it and test it more. But that could also just be more work as well. Alright, so here's a question. Anyone that does like streaming of code on Discord, is the text like easily readable? Right? Are they like avoiding the mangling of the code? Because that might be the easiest way. I still think this would be kind of cool, because it would be guaranteed to be better quality, but I don't know if I need to have all the same plugins installed. I don't know who needs to start the server or initiate the session. Yeah, I think it'd be fun to fiddle with, but maybe not live today. I don't know. And yeah, how does like saving work and all that stuff? Yeah, we'd have to make sure we're in like the same like subdirectory, basically. I think it's a cool idea, but probably not necessary now. Not sure? Okay, yeah, it's worth a shot. I don't know, we'll give it a shot. No big deal. But yeah, how you doing, K-Bray? What are you up to? Alright, so yeah, we're probably like an hour away from DM Mulroy being ready for a session. So, in the meantime, yeah, I'm thinking we'll probably try and do the Discord thing. Definitely feel some like weather changing happening, which is not ideal, but oh, is the weather opening up a bit? Is that why I'm feeling like some precursors? We're getting into like the dangerous part of the year for cluster headaches, which is a bummer. I'm doing all right. Yeah, finished recording my my presentation for React Summit. It's like 9.5 minutes. I hope that's okay. They sent me a message that I need to reply. To. So they got some reminders. Yep. This Sunday is the deadline, which I finished. Oh, there's gonna be like discussion rooms, which is interesting. I need to give them a t-shirt size, which is awesome. They're planning some Twitter Spaces on November 1st and 2nd, which could be fun. One of them is 9 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm not making it. That's 6 a.m., dude. There's no way. There's no way. Okay. Yeah, just making sure. Had to double check that. Let's look at some Elixir stuff. Yeah, so, I don't know. Write it out, call that good, but not that important for what we're doing right now. Let's reshuffle some of this stuff then. And yes, so scheduling. I'm actually surprised that we got so much of this done yesterday. It's kind of crazy. Right? Because our types are so minimal, because typing basically doesn't exist. We haven't actually tried to run this code yet. But it does compile, which is the important part. Because we couldn't actually do our formatting if it didn't compile. I won yesterday, which was nice. Yeah, hold on, let me double check that one. I had a Chan or whatever, the running back for Miami. Had him on my bench, which was not ideal. And he's going to be out for like 3 weeks now, or like 2 weeks, so that's not ideal. But at least I picked him up. I know, just a bummer. But Kittle gave me 27 points. Aaron Jones being on the inactive list was a bummer, so he gave me 0. But the person I was playing against also had some issues. Like half their team was on a bye week, so that was fun. So yeah, I ended up winning 106 to 85. That was my second win. So now I'm 2-3. Yeah, Kittle is my favorite tight end in Madden to use, right? Like, I got Gronk right now, and he's fine. He can run block, but I don't know. Kittle just balls out, man. Just kills it. I did not know that. That doesn't seem healthy. Yeah, I would tell him to stop as well. Can't get a concussion if I already got one. Right? Like, dude, is that the mentality? Yeah, people are always worried about me getting a concussion in the game, so I just gave myself one beforehand, and then we're good. Like, dude, oh my god. And what's up, Steve-O? How you doing? I know, right? Like, jeez. Only a concept that you can come up with after a bunch of concussions. You know, like, holy shit. Oh, man. Concussion-driven development. Boom, nailed it. Right? Big brain. All right, so this is the part we care about. The functionality we care about is going to be over here-ish. And yeah, for the global and environment, we hop into here. At which point we create the start date and end date. That's right. So we need to create start date, start of start date, end date, and end of end date. From there, we check if we're outside those bounds, and it's an immediate false. From after that, we need to actually get our start time and end time. When we have no time schedule, then it's an automatic true because we know that we're within the bounds of the start and end date. Ooh, and I think I just discovered we probably have a bug with some of our other code too, because we might not be passing the correct schedule. Nope, never mind. Schedule is on the features, so yeah, we're set. So that part's okay. So really, it's once we get to the time types that it matters. So start end versus daily. Daily is, I think, the trickiest one too. All right, so just refamiliarizing myself with all the logic that we got to do. Yeah, easy enough. All right, so let's look up the syntax. UTC time, interestingly. Okay. What about Epic? Yeah, I might have to Google some of these. Yeah, most of these are part of the archive. But yeah, the archive is getting a bit big. Should we set like a sub goal? If we hit 250 subs, we'll go through and like trim down our tabs. All right, we'll look through all of them. We can do it. I don't think that'd be too crazy. Yeah, let's look at the API reference. There's something I'm missing here. Aw, thanks, Vic. Yeah, no worries. Appreciate it. Thank you. Man, if I could get to like 1,500 subs, I wouldn't have to work anymore. I'd have rent covered. That'd be amazing. But that'll be a long time. Probably never. Probably never. But I'm okay with it. But yeah, thank you. And K-Bray, thank you for the Prime sub. Appreciate you. I should probably be pulling like the move like, hey, y'all know if you got a Prime subscription, you can actually use it here in chat. Did you know that? But man, I'd feel so gross saying that all the time. Hell no. No thank you. I'm good. Oh, okay. That's weird. So timex.datetime is empty here? And that seems weird. What's the question, Matrimony? I know, that was an amazing doc, wasn't it? That's a good point there, Bick. Yeah, that's a good call. Right? Better to use it than not use it. Sure. I just feel like there's like other streamers you could support instead. So, I don't know. We'll see. Whatever. I don't know. A little while. I mean, everyone's a combination of self-taught and other stuff. Ooh, that's like the core date time. Like the native date time. I find it interesting that we see a from Unix for the naive date time, which is Elixir's date time, but we don't see anything for that in Timex. Oh, interesting. Okay. So yeah, date time versus naive date time. Which means it doesn't include time zone. Ah. Yeah, converting timestamps. I know we do that somewhere. Does it? I don't know why I didn't find it. And why it didn't come up in our search. Okay. And it delegates to the naive one. Okay. And yeah, Unix times are always UTC. Okay. Yeah, it probably just wraps it. We'll want to do maybe milliseconds, because we're doing JavaScript timestamps, which are milliseconds. So yeah, good call, Steve-O. I don't know why it wasn't showing up. All right, so start date. And man, I really wish we had better editor tooling going right now. Yeah, VS Code's bumming me out there. Is there a JetBrains editor? We could see if Fleet is a bit better. Oh, and it's still in preview mode. Does that mean... Does that mean we don't get plugins? Let me just try this, because it's getting really annoying not getting any like auto completion or any semblance of like syntax highlighting. Even doesn't even work that well. All right, let's update Fleet. Yeah, so the Elixir VS Code plugins just can't find my version of Elixir for some reason. Or they can, but like nothing's happening. Right? Like there's no auto completion whatsoever. Maybe I need to use Timex? Yeah, like I get nothing. Now, it's most likely something I've misconfigured, so don't blame them for that. Never mind, let's just stop. Let's open it. I guess I had it already. Alright, so let's see. JetBrains, Fleet, Elixir. No Elixir support. That's as of last year. Zed? What plugin, Steve-O? If you're saying for VS Code, it's just not working. Yeah, Fleet doesn't have a plugin support. You can't use the existing IntelliJ plugin ecosystem. All right, let's try Zed, sure. Yeah, exactly, Steve-O. Yes, that's a little tougher. Hard to justify. No, so Elixir works fine locally. It's just VS Code is having an issue trying to do anything with it. So Elixir-V is fine. Right? Yeah, it's just something about VS Code and the path, maybe? Like, they're not complaining about the path anymore, but I don't know, yeah. Something weird. It's worth a shot just to see if it works better, right? Maybe it doesn't. That's fine. Oh, they've got some cool collaboration tooling? Oh, nifty. Yeah, Fleet was supposed to have some really good collaboration tooling, too. Can I not zoom in? No, I cannot. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Hey, what's up, Brooke Zerker? How you doing? How's your fantasy team looking this week? I got lucky against a Toto last week. It was close. But yeah, I got so many people on like injured reserve and all that junk. Like, dude, I don't think there's a chance I'm winning this week. Ooh, it's close. It's close. But yeah, how's your Sequel X thing going? Yeah. You won last weekend? Nice. Yeah, I won yesterday too. That's 2 for me. Ooh, man. Oh, man. Working on an assessment now? So what does that mean? Like, the assessment? Oh, that sounds fun. Ooh, I like that. Oh yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, good work. Yeah, that sounds great. So yeah, whoever's using Zed, how do I zoom this portion of things? Like, it's way too small. Seems like it's system font? Okay. Okay. Well, that would need to be updated before I could, like, fully use it. But if we go look at some Elixir code, highlighting looks all right. Sure. Yeah, could not run the Elixir language server, Elixir LS, because Elixir was not found? That is so weird to me. Alright, let's just try updating. What is it? Update? It's upgrade. Update would do, like, all of Brew. Now, hold on. How do I make it do just the thing we care about? Regularly update and you won't have this problem. Yeah, we'll just do brew install elixir. Oh, I probably could have done like the no update thing. That would have been good. Yeah, I get you. Oh, dude. Do you want to have some more gripes with Homebrew? Because it's going to take forever to run what it's doing over there? I think it's in cask? No. Maybe it's just here. I always forget. Some of them split what they're doing. Right, it's not library. Maybe it was homebrew cask. It is. Do you see this? The way they structure their cask repo, everything's just in folders with the letter that it starts with. I'm good. How about you, Brom? Right? At least with Cocoa Pods, they do some hashing to give it like a hexadecimal, like nested folder structure to try and keep the folders somewhat like reasonably sized. Let's see. Let's try this one. Good. That's good to hear, Brom. Yeah, some of these get big. What do we think the biggest one's going to be? Something that starts with like S? Like, dude, it's just... Who runs software like this? It's so crazy to me. Just abusing GitHub, basically. So, yeah. You ever read the meme where, like, the dude who made Brew, like, had a tweet? And it was basically, yeah, I wrote software that runs on every single Mac at Google, but I couldn't get a job at Google because I couldn't invert a binary tree or some shit like that. Maybe they just actually looked inside the source code of Brew. If I were them, I'd give him a task of actually implementing a hash map. For no reason. No, I didn't read the apology post, actually. No, I did not read the apology post. I missed that one. Alright, at least, you know. At least he did apologize. Was it a good apology? Or was it, I'm sorry Google was offended? He didn't read their requirements and went into the interview blind. Yeah, there you go. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, you're probably right there, K-Bray. Sure. All right. Yeah, that sounds like a good apology. Awesome. It's probably worth it there, K-Bray. Oh, yep, this is still running. Chris, why are you drinking? I had to run homebrew. Right? Like, makes sense. Yeah, and Orangebrook Zerker. Yeah, thanks for just letting us know about that. Thank you for the raid. Like, yeah, see you again soon. Exactly. Yep. Demons, thank you for the follow. Welcome. I did pretty good yesterday. Only had one whiskey and didn't even finish it. Trying to, like, you know, cut down a bit. Still have some good fun days of, like, you know, a bit much. Because those are fun days, you know? But yeah, space it out a bit. But yeah, how you doing, demons? Is this the first time I've run brew since upgrading to Big Sur? It might be. But here's the thing. If installing the latest Elixir and updating the Elixir language server actually works, then fuck it. We're good. I believe VS Code would even work at that point. Nah, this is an old Mac Mini. Should probably do a half of a multivitamin. We'll be fine. Multivitamin, the only thing that can make whiskey taste worse. Especially because it's an organic multivitamin. Oh, dude. Oof. I don't like it. Yeah, you recognize that Costco brand. Yep. Well, instead of waiting to watch that paint dry, let's just start hammering it out. Fuck it. Alright, so we get start date. We can do end date the same way. Maybe I just need to create this credo.exs file too. Ooh, but it's not credo.exs. All right, now they don't complain about it at least. This Python 3.11 was a huge mistake. Did I say steak? All right, so the next thing we want to do is start of start date. I think we'll just close Z for now. So we generate the from Unix. I kind of want to just like set some parts of it. Oh, and that's easy. Oh, that's so easy. Nice. Okay. I was thinking that we'd have to like do a whole bunch of calls. So yeah, start of start date. So hour would be 0, minute would be 0, second 0, millisecond 0. All right, 59, 59, then this is, all right, milliseconds, that's, oop, too many digits there. It's just 9,999, isn't it? Microsecond would be the million, right? Yeah. I might even have that backwards. We're just slightly off. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Yeah, 1,000 milliseconds in a second. Alright, just thank you. I don't know why, my brain was just on that one, so yep, thank you. I forget what language we were working with that only allowed us to do microseconds. That one was annoying. And microseconds is 1,000,000 in a second, right? I think it is. I don't know. Whatever. Alright, so now we gotta check the before and after stuff. We do get a before and we do get an after. Nice. All right, so yeah, we want to basically just do timex dot before, I believe. Wish there was more examples in the documentation here. We'd also do a between. Ah, so I want to do inclusive true as part of the option. So I think we do question mark because it's a Boolean. We do now. We do inclusive true. Oh, and shit, hold on. Did I see Bedtime Bear here earlier and I totally, like, spaced on it? I totally did. Alright, so if that return false. I think we still get return statements in Elixir, right? Okay, so the next part that we do is we get the start time and end time. And hey, what's up, DM? I made the mistake of doing a brew install, so that's fun. And what about Hawaii? And yeah, so what's your idea? Oh, well, thanks, Always. Appreciate you. Okay. Well, yeah. How's it going there, Pia? That's an option. I think we can make that work. I would need to update my font. Would it show the full output though? Like, does it stream the entire buffer? So I wouldn't need plugins or anything, like for NeoVim? That could work. Ah, no worries there, Vic. Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, I mean, let's try it real quick. I can always change my font. I wonder if that's like a specific setting I could do. You see editor, workbench. Here we go. So yeah, drama stands for power line. Yep. What am I using over here? Yeah, this could totally work. Meslo LGM for Powerline. Is the 4 part capitalized? No, but the Powerline part is. Okay. It looks a bit jammed together. Maybe it's LGL? I just gotta find something for Powerline, theoretically. Roboto Mono for Powerline? Sure. Okay, so it's just a VS Code issue. VS Code, terminal, character, spacing. Editor, letter spacing. Here it is. All right, there we go. Boom, works for me. All right. Does it actually share our terminal output, though? That's the part I'm curious about. I mean, we can try it, right? Because that's still going. I need to install LiveShare. Share terminal instances. Yeah, okay. And Vim LiveShare through VS Code terminal. That could work. Oh, they're saying reload VS Code? We could just restart the extension host, right? Yeah. Alright, we'll let that keep going. Oh my god, Elixir tools are going insane! Yeah, let's do that. Okay. So yeah, it should be sent. Oh, and I have a whole scene for this one. Ooh, I hear you typing away.
I'm here. I'm just trying to nail down my actual font settings here.
Yep, no worries.
I never know what like the actual name is supposed to be. There's only so many variations.
Right.
Okay. I think I have that. Okay. Let me launch my terminal. I'm feeling good about this. Okay. Let's look at flags. I don't have the terminal font correct yet. I have my editor font. So I have to update some other settings real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. They look like they're all using the same thing. Can I do terminal dot integrated dot font ligatures? No, I can't. I must just not be able to turn ligatures on in the terminal, which is fine. I don't need ligatures.
We need ligatures. I'm kidding. It's fine.
Let's see here. Otherwise, this looks like it might be okay. The font's a little weird, but I think it's going to be okay.
Sure. Yeah, I've never used LiveShare before, so this will be an experience.
I looked at the NeoVim LiveShare. It's called Instant, and we have to like host a server on some VPS somewhere for us both to connect to. And I don't know if my work laptop with my VPN would play nice with that. So I figured this was easier.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, I was thinking like there's always ngrok to expose like a local server, but again, like VPNs get weird.
Yeah, we can play with that for next time, but I think
I think we're good. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to up my font size. I installed a plugin to do that from the terminal. Gosh, I don't know my font. Terminal font increase. All right, now let me see if I can live share to you. Starting collaboration session. Got a shared terminal. Okay, I like where this is going. We'll make that. No, that's not what I wanted. Remove that. Okay, I need to copy. All right, I'm gonna message you on Twitch.
Sure.
Now, wouldn't you like to be a pepper too?
All right, there's the live share. Let's see if this is gonna work.
All right, yeah, 1 sec. I got my screen hidden, so we're good there.
I think I have all my keybinds. Yep, let's go. So we have telescope. I can't believe this is happening.
It's definitely tweet worthy, I think.
Oh man. It's so funny.
Looks like I'm connected. I just want to make sure it's not going to like leak some keys or IP addresses or any of that junk. So yeah, just double checking there. Looks like it spawned up an entirely new window, which is perfect. Waiting for approval. Nice. That's a good feature. I didn't realize it was that good.
Set.
All right. Host shared a live share terminal. Enter to type.
Let's go.
Yeah, I see the workspace and everything. How do I make sure that I'm like follow? Well, I guess I just leave it open because yeah, it's just a terminal, so we're good.
Can you like see me moving around in it?
Yes, but it's a little cursed. Hold on. That's what I see.
Can you? Okay, so can you? I think you can right click on the terminal and like move into editor pane.
I see split or kill. Maybe do I do this?
Let me see if I can figure this
Panel
out.
position.
New terminal. If I'm
Oh,
in my term,
that looks better. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. Looks very small.
if you can, oh yeah, if you click the, let me see, let me look at your stream here quick.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. I'm gonna have to pull you up on actual Twitch and mute myself.
And yeah, you may want to switch over to just the full screen camera if you got a scene for that.
Yeah,
or something.
I can do that here.
Cool.
1 second.
Yep, take your time.
Do you have like a thing in the right hand corner that says like Zeesh or Bash in the top right hand corner?
Yes.
Top
Oh, so that's what I would maybe right click.
Yeah,
Move terminal into editor area. Genius. Okay.
So I think you just have to do that with the the terminal that's being shared.
Okay. So I see Zish and Bash. I'm guessing Zish is the one. I see the Bash one there.
Yeah, it must be Zish.
Okay.
I will work on moving myself to full screen here.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
So it's still the small part. Can you like try edit, like moving around in the file a bit more? See if maybe it's just an artifact.
So it's a little cursed.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know what else I could do here.
Yeah, I have no idea, to be honest.
It just seems like it's like just constrained wrong. Size to content width? Try sending something else real quick, like modifying the buffer.
Okay.
That didn't do shit. Oh no. Alright, so toggle size to content width, wasn't it?
So maybe the idea wasn't as good as I had hoped.
It was a great idea. Hold on. I'm wondering if there's some like settings I have that need to be fixed. Like settings terminal. Yeah. Let me try a quick Google.
Oh wait, here we go. Shared terminal width and shared terminal height in the live share.
Oh yes. Okay.
I don't even know what they made the. Hold on, I think I can potentially come up with a size here. Or what? Here, what resolution are you running? That's not gonna be perfect, but it might work.
I don't even know the exact resolution.
Can we just do 100%?
But let's just say it's 1440p.
Did that just change something?
I don't think yours is changing mine yet. I can scroll for days.
Yeah, I wonder, did you find this setting in your settings? Or these live shared terminal heights?
Yeah, so I set it to 200 just to see. Shared terminal width is 120. What do you have that set to? Is that 80 instead?
I just bumped mine to 1440 by 2560.
So keep in mind that this is in characters. So that would be a lot of characters.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's a good point.
If we just divide by 20, maybe that would work.
Settings. Let me go back to this.
This is an interesting experiment, right? Totally worth checking out and seeing.
So height, I'm just gonna say my height is like 200, and I'm gonna say my width is, I'll do 80 times, I'll do 160. 200 by 160.
Try restarting the session, maybe?
All right, let me try that.
Sure, yeah, that's what someone recommended. Worth a shot.
All right, let me terminate. Stop collaboration session. Share. Let me send you that link again.
Mm-hmm. We'll go back to the hacking
Give
screen.
him an enema.
Okay, link is sent.
And worst case scenario, we just do the Discord share for the screen.
Okay.
But at least let's keep trying a little bit. All right, so that's not showing anything anymore, so I can switch back. Waiting for host approval.
Okay.
I see the Zish read only. Could have sworn I just saw a place to do this. That does look taller now. Ish. Not perfect, though. Huh, yeah. It was so close.
It was a valiant effort.
Yeah.
Do you want to try co-host again and see if that looks any better today? I can just switch that on real quick. It's just a scene.
Oh, I mean, it's probably not going to be great. Yeah, I doubt it. Hold on. What do you think, chat? Is that a bit, is that a bit fuzzy? Or do we think it looks fine? It's readable, but it's a bit fuzzy. Let's try the Discord.
Okay. I'm worried Discord's going to only let me stream in 720p, but maybe it's better than this.
Right.
Let me bump over here.
It's worse than it was the other time, Metame? Oh, fun. Worse than previous streams. Yeah, so that's a bummer.
Add friend. You see him griffing on Discord?
I think so, yeah.
Alright, I think I should have just sent you
Yep.
a request there.
Just got it. Okay, so boom. Boom. All right.
All right, I'm going to, I guess I should drop from guest star.
I don't know about that. No, I think that's fine, because then I have, like, the camera here just on its own thing, right?
Oh, I'll just mute myself on Discord, right?
Yeah, I think that would work.
Okay, let's, all right. Let's try this.
Yeah.
Where is the button to call?
Okay, cool.
Hold on, I can get a free trial of Nitro and stream in higher quality.
Oh, nifty.
Let's just go with that. Hit up the old Venmo. Hodl chat. We're gonna make this work.
Yep.
1 second.
Yeah, no rush.
If you want to pull up the PR a while, we can at least go through that on your screen.
Yeah.
Okay. I can stream in 1440p at 60 FPS. Let's go.
Cool.
How we
All
looking?
right. Let me pop this out. And I was hoping there'd be a way to, like, hide these bottom bits. But 1 second. Yeah. Oh, that is way higher quality. Oh, my. Okay. Yeah, so that'll work. And I'll just create a display capture.
Look at that. How many engineers does it take to figure out streaming on Twitch?
I know, right? Way too many. this out of the way. Cool.
Sweet. Okay.
That'll work for me.
Cool. So why don't you pull up the PR and drag through that, and then we can jump into it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
have
one
some
second.
Cool stuff that I got done this week, between last week and now.
Nice. Okay, so...
I think you need to mute yourself on Discord too.
Oh, good catch, good catch. There we go. Yeah, you were getting too many Chris's. Okay, so we're good there. I can hide the display capture, get my video capture back, and we'll call that pretty good. I think. What do I have over here on the right that's blocking stuff? Oh, I know what it was. All right, let me reset this, and then yeah, we'll get the recording going, and I'll do I'll try to do like a little intro.
Sounds good.
Okay, so yeah, this works. This is readable. Let me zoom in on this bit. Cool. All right, so we can read all that. I'm going to get the recording started. I need to change up my title real quick. Ocaml SDK Day with @DM Mulroy. If I can spell, yep. And let me update the title over on YouTube. All right, yeah. So, recording starting. All right, so here we are, third session, week 3 of the Ocaml series with DM Mulroy. And we're going to start out looking at a PR of code that he worked on in the meantime since last time. And yeah, should be fun. So, let's look at what we got going here. We see just some updates to the config. Right, just formatting.
Yep, that should be nothing too crazy.
Looking here at libclientml, the lookup tables, right? We don't have a specific type for those anymore because it's the composite table. Right. Cool.
Yep.
And that's over in the lookup module. Sweet.
Yep. I actually changed how we do the composite tables quite a bit.
Okay. Line groups, yep. Okay. So cool. Yeah, that's looking good. Let make. That's basically like the initializer, right?
Yeah, it's like a constructor function.
Okay, cool. Just double checking that I remember any of this. So what's happening here? Like, why was stir removed? I'm curious about that.
So we were using stir previously as the, it's like they call it an extension library. I talked to one of my coworkers about this because I didn't really understand. It's technically not part of the standard library, but it's called like an extension library. So it like lives with the standard library docs. I found out that the like idiomatic way to do regexes is a module called RE.
Okay.
So I ended up using that, and then I was streaming, and I don't know if he's in chat now, but there's a member of the the Ocaml community. His name's Yawar. He does a lot of awesome stuff. He's active on Twitter, pops into Ocaml streamers, Twitches, very active on the Discuss or the Ocaml forums.
Okay.
He put me onto a module in the standard library called file name that has a built-in function for cutting extensions off.
That's
So
even
we
cleaner.
ended up, yeah, exactly. So you'll see that here in one of the files I touched.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Yep, file name dot remove extension. You pass the name into it. Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, that's clean. Yeah, so no dependency needed for that, which is great.
Exactly.
What is the tilde for when you're like doing the find key stuff?
So tildes are named parameters.
That's right. That's right. Okay. It's going to take me a while to like remember some of these things. I'm definitely going to forget stuff. So, okay.
Yeah, so if a function has named parameters, they can be optional, which will just mean they have a question mark. And the order of them doesn't matter.
Right. And that's just nicer for not having to memorize the order in which things have to be done. Right. Cool.
Right.
Okay. Sweet. Client.group table. Do a find within that. Yep. Makes sense. And yeah, a lot of this code got refactored, it looks like.
Yeah. I went to town on this.
Okay. You mind kind of explaining what we're seeing here?
Yeah, sure. So this file is probably easier to look at after the lookup file, but like just as a I guess spoiler, we refactored from using nested hash tables. That's basically what our other type was before. Our composite tables and our lookup tables were just hash tables, and technically they still are. And I'd remind you in chat that in Ocaml, hash tables are mutable, so they update their values in place. And the API is very unlike other Ocaml APIs where it returns unit, which would be like undefined or something in another language. And it's just like not very ergonomic for piping around through functions. So I built an abstraction, again called a lookup table and a composite table, that basically abstracts the hash table behind like an opaque type, just a type T. And so no one, like any client wouldn't know that it's actually a hash table. And the functions that you use to operate on this always return the hash table back out. So it feels like you're working with a table or with a immutable data structure that gets returned and updated every time, even though it's updating under the covers. And that would, buy us flexibility, not that we would ever need it in this case, but like we could switch out the implementation of the data structure under the covers of the hash table at any point and just maintain that API.
Sure. Yeah, I think the immutable style is something that I've been doing some Elixir because I'm working on the Elixir SDK right now, and it is also fully immutable. And like, if you want to modify a map, like you're just going to be getting a new map out of it when you try and do any of that, right? So yeah.
In the updated code here in the green, you'll see that I'm using the pipe operator or the application operator way more, because now when we operate on the composite table, rather than returning a unit, it's returning itself, and so we can continuously just pipe that through, and it just makes for like a much nicer API. And I also added the named arguments rather than just like positional arguments.
Okay, cool. I like how you got the option.value default. Okay, so yeah, that's where we get like a brand new empty one if it wasn't there. Yep, totally makes sense there. Yeah, cool. All right, so then this is where you did some of that magic of creating those abstractions here in lookup.ml. So that's where you created find, has, make, remove, set.
Let's look at lookup.mli first, and we can actually, this is like the first MLI file we'll have in the project. And an MLI file is a interface file, so you can declare all your types in here. And basically this file is what other modules have access to. Like anything you define in here, you can either make like opaque. You'll see for like this top module type S, like that is the interface for a lookup table. It's convention from what I can understand to use like type S. I think it stands for signature. So basically this is the signature type of a lookup table module. So it has a type key, a type value, and a type T. The actual details of that are going to be, well, actually, oh yeah, I'm on the interface up here, right? So that's basically any lookup table will have those types, and the functions are going to be find, has, make, remove, and set. And you can kind of just, I feel like those function definitions are relatively straightforward to follow.
Yeah.
So then we have like this base lookup table, and a base lookup table. This is kind of like a config module, which I'll get to in a second. But we're basically going to use this base.s to provide to a functor. And a functor is basically just a way to take one module, spit out another module. It's like, if you remember back in the React days of higher order components, right? It's like kind of the same idea. Factory functions, if you're in Java, whatever.
Okay, so a functor is basically a higher order module.
Right. It's yeah, that's exactly a good way to think about it. So we have like this input type of base.s, and then we have this other type called by ID or name, which the types of module you need to provide to that functor will be ID or name.
Okay.
And
cool.
then if we look at, sorry, I was looking at my ML file, but that's okay. On line 28, we have our make functor. So this is just going to make us like just a base lookup table. It's going to take our base.s. So we take some module that has a type key and a type value on it, and we're going to return basically our top level top S, which is defined on line 1. And we're going to say, we're going to return S where the type key is equal to the module we passed in's key, and the type value is equal to the module we passed in's value. And then those types percolate down into the definitions that we have for those functions. So if you look up at like line 6 in the module type S definition, if we said type key was string and type value is int, like the find function would take a named argument key where the key was a string, we'd give it our module, and we would get back an int option. Those types like kind of fill out the rest of the module, right, for us.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
And then it's basically the same deal with make by ID or name. We basically just say, hey, our key is going to be this union type here, where it can be either an ID or it can be a name, and our value will be the ID. And then some of these other ones are a little bit more confusing. We could probably get into them a little bit later, but I'm doing some clever stuff here where I like make kind of like concrete implementations at like the type level to enforce that we're working with like environments and features. I'll show you that once we actually can jump into the code and I have like autocomplete and the LSP to go through.
Sure. Yeah, makes sense.
But you'll notice one thing to call out is like on lines 28 and 30, we don't say like S with type T anywhere. Like we're not copying a type T in, we're keeping that completely hidden. So all outside consumers will know is that a lookup table has a type T. That's it. They will have no idea what the underlying structure is that we're operating on.
Okay.
So
and then that still just allows you to like replace the internals later if you needed to, right?
Right. Or like that can also prevent people from like operating on it in ways that we wouldn't want.
Okay, cool.
So you could scroll back up to the ML file, and the ML file is basically just the implementation of those types we laid out in the MLI file. MLI files are strictly types. There is no actual code. So the thing that is probably most useful to look at here is like lines 27 to 44, where we describe or we create our make functor. Here we basically say, hey, we have this functor that takes a module M, and that module M needs to implement base.s, which basically that just needs a module that has a type key and a type value. Again, we say we're going to return an S with type key equals m.key, so on and so forth. And then you can see the actual implementation of what our lookup table looks like under the covers. We say type T is a hash table.t where the key is of type key and the values of the type value. That's completely hidden from people. And then you can just see that we basically implement all of the functions in terms of a hash table, but that's no one to the outside world is none the wiser.
Okay.
And then make by ID or name, basically the same pattern, just it takes a different input module just because we're looking up by a different type.
So in how many cases are you actually using like the standard like make one versus like the make by ID or name?
Yeah, so if you scroll down, those extra lines down at the bottom that I had in the MLI, I actually implement them down here. So if we look at like the module group table, we're using our make by ID or name functor, and we're passing in our types.group. This was super cool because our group already implicitly satisfies our base.s interface because it has a what is it, a key and a value on it. Is that what it looks for? Or make by ID or name? I just lost my spot. What does that take? I've lost myself. It has an ID and name, sorry. So if you were to go open the types.group module, you'll see that the group has a type ID and a type name. So it like can just be passed into this functor and it can pick up those types and fill out the rest of the thing for us. So I thought that was super cool. Next is this features table. You'll see this include line. Include is almost like spreading a module into another module. So we're basically saying like, hey, this feature table module is gonna include all of the functions and types returned by this other module here. And you could use a module or a functor here.
Okay, so this is almost similar to how in Go you would like inherit by just doing composition instead.
I was gonna actually compare this to Go structs.
Okay, cool.
It's the same idea basically. And then the reason I did this rather than just leaving it as like module feature table equals make by ID or name, because I wanted to extend this and add special functionality for our feature table. And I wanted to add the set feature function, which basically is just a nice little helper here where we can take a feature table, and just update that.
Okay. And then that's just embedded within the composite table. Yeah, okay, cool.
So then, well, that's actually not, the feature table and the group table aren't the composite tables. They are themselves lookup tables. So our composite tables will be a lookup table. We have some key, and then the value will be another lookup table.
Yep.
So if we look down at our composite tables, this is where you see how like these modules start to compose. Yeah, so you're in the MLI right now, but you can even see it here. We say the type value.
Here, right?
Yeah. We say the type value is environment table.t. That environment table.t is generated for us by the code on line 33. So we have like this type T that gets created for us, and that's abstract by passing or like using our other functor. And then we're using that type we made to use it as the value in our composite table. And you can kind of see how this composes together if you go to the ML file on like lines 90 through 98.
Okay.
So we pass into our make functor a struct where the type value, the key, is always going to be a group ID on our composite tables. And then our values are like an embedded lookup table. So in the case of the feature table, we reference our feature table.t, which we just made, 30 lines up. and likewise with the environment table.
Okay. Now, is there any specific reason to keep like the key value like keywords, or would it have made sense to do like key or like a ID or maybe even group ID and then value?
I mean, we could have. I was following
Just
the
curious.
types pretty closely to your other SDKs.
Okay.
And like I think it does make sense because like it has a super similar API to a hash table or, you know, structs of that nature, key value.
And
types.
right. This is the name or the ID. So yeah, it's a key because we don't know which one it is. Right.
Right. Okay, so that's that. Then the only other thing we really have to go through is the manifest, which I forgot to delete some code, but if you want to scroll down a bit.
Yep.
So that is our old implementation that I forgot to delete.
Sure.
And this is the new one.
Okay, so this basically just exposes only the set manifest function. And a getter, right? For getting the manifest. Are we going to expose a sync manifest function as well?
I think that's where we planned on picking up today.
Okay. Cool. Just double checking. Yeah, looks great. Yeah, awesome work, man. This is looking better and better. Yeah, this is cool.
Sweet. Cool. Well, let me get my code back up here and we can get coded.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna grab another beer quick before we start here.
Take your time.
All right, BRB.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, how's it going, chat? What are y'all up to? You better put a lime in it. Isn't Corona supposed to be lemon? No, I guess it is lime. What's the one that you put lemon in? Tecate? Like branding-wise? I feel like I've seen some distinction for that at some point. Is it lemon? Okay. Yeah, I don't remember. Close enough. It's citrus.
And we're back. Don't worry, Meta. I brought the whiskey this time.
Oh, whiskey time. Nice.
Cool. So I need to pull up the Go client or the TS client just to get a reference here. Because we're going to start. How's the font size, chat?
Let me double check. Looks like it could go a little bigger, but probably not the end of the world. And yeah, let me get to where I can see.
Well, actually, looks like we might already have sync done in the manifest. Was that the file we were just in?
Oh, yes. Oh, that was it. Basically, the diff didn't have any changes to that part.
Gotcha. So we must have got this done last time. And this, we get back a, let's see here, a client. We just return a client. I'm assuming in the Go code and the TypeScript code, it just returns undefined. Yeah, it returns nil. Okay, cool. So this returning the client will just kind of aid in having a more functional API.
Yep. Yeah, I get that. That makes sense to me.
It's so easy to read, but could go a little bit bigger. All right, Meta, for your old eyes.
Even for people on like phones and stuff, you know, totally helps.
Yeah, I got him. I just like giving Meta a hard time.
Makes sense.
All right, so we have manifest done. Is there anything else in the manifest package that we need to implement?
As far as what's on basically the client, no, that's about it.
Sweet. Okay. Is flags done then? This looks like we finished this too. Set and maybe we don't have sync in here. So we've get and set on flags. I'm assuming flags also has a sync.
It does. Yep.
All right. So sync flags. All right, I got my reference over here. So sync flags. I can pull this over here for chat too while we go over it. Sync flags is going to take a group name or ID, our fetch hook, and we're going to return an HTTP response. I guess this is part of that definition. We're going to return an error. So I guess this returns nil at the end. Set flags, I believe that ends up returning nil.
No, so this should be the same like signature as the get flags, like callback.
Right. Well, doesn't this return?
So set flags returns nil, and sync flags will also return nil. But the callback function is actually just for like doing the fetching.
Right. Okay, perfect. So this should be super easy to write. It should be almost identical to the function we were just looking at here.
Mm-hmm.
So we can copy that for reference. And we'll come down to the bottom of the file, throw this in here. We have a fetch hook. And this will be flags. And get takes a client T, a fetch hook. Right, we don't have a set manifest. That makes sense. So let's just do that real quick. Let's figure out what our errors are. Probably has to be an LWT dot return okay. Let's see here. Get set. So we should be fine. Oh, we need a group ID or name. Right. Okay. So I assume, yeah, so your sync function takes that as well. So we can throw that there. And that will just get passed down in.
Yep.
So now we have our flags. Yep. This is going to compose so easily. Set. Going to take a client. And it'll take the group. Oh, interesting. So this returns. What should get return here?
Get would return just the group that we fetched.
Okay. So this should be a group. We might have to add some type annotations to get this properly working.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say this is flags group. And then we'll say, did we say the typos on that? It's going to take a group, which would be, just rename that the group.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. So I think we actually need to use let plus here. It'll be okay. So let plus basically unboxes a result from a promise, where let star just unboxes a regular promise.
Mm-hmm. And does let plus like bubble up the error if it?
Yeah. So if we hit a error value, it will return from the scope immediately, rather than continuing on.
Yep. And exactly stacking. Yeah. LWT is basically a promise. Yep.
Yep. That's a good reminder for chat that like if you hear me say LWT, you can pretty much just like translate that to promise.
Yep. Cool. And for everyone else out there, we believe it stands for lightweight thread.
I think so, yeah. So now we need to just pass the group ID or name. And I think we're type checked. Like, I think it was that easy.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Well, that was easy. So we have our sync done. I guess what is next? We can go look at our client quick.
So yeah, there's a couple functions we want to look at. Do we have the hasher created yet?
I believe so.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, we might want to do the should function.
Okay, and that should be on the top level client?
Yes.
Perfect. Let me pull the should function up over here. So should, for chat, we'll bring GitHub back up. Get out of this. So should takes a group name or ID, a feature name or ID, returns a boolean or an error, and we call client should custom string, which we pass down the group name or ID, the feature name or ID, and we pull the custom instance ID off the client. That gets passed into here. We call a real IDs. So we're gonna have to implement that first.
Mm-hmm.
Client get real IDs and client get raw features. So let's start with real IDs as we're the first thing we implement.
Yep. Yes, this just turns like an ID or a name into the ID that it should be, just to ease our users a bit.
See. Okay. Cool. Okay, that's super easy then. So we'll say we're gonna do a let get real group ID. I'm gonna write two functions and then we'll compose them together in a bigger one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll write a let get real group ID. Oh man, can you tell I was writing TypeScript today? Get real group ID, and this will take a what will this take? This will take a
group name or string, I believe.
Yes. So let me see how I want to type this. I guess it just needs to be group name, or actually we can just match on it. So it's actually gonna have to take a client first, right? Because we don't have any sort of instance.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll do a match. So when you write function like this, it's basically saying I want to match on the last argument that you're gonna pass in, and it's gonna be able to infer it. So if we say we're gonna match on ID, and we'll just get ID, and for now we'll just return a unit just to start typing this out. We'll underscore that, keep that happy, and then we'll say name, and we'll do name, and we'll return a unit, and then we basically want to go to the group lookup table. Oh, in fact, we might not even need to match, because we might be able to just pass this right into our group table, right? Our group table is what? Yes.
Yes, exactly. Yep. Yeah, the other ones might need a bit of a match because they're like the 2 levels deep, but this one's just top level.
So we might be able to do let group ID equals lookup dot group table dot get group table dot has removed. We might have to go write a get function. I didn't even write that. Whoops.
Oh, right, because we have like find and all that other stuff, but we don't have get. That's funny.
Maybe find does do it, but oh, it does. It just returns an option.
Okay.
What does that look like? What is the real implementation of that with the? So I guess that is what the hash table goes by in Ocaml 2 using find.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll keep it. I guess we do have it. I just was not used to it being find. Dot find, and it's going to take a key, which will be our group ID or name.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and we'll pass in the client group table. And we want to return an error if it's not found. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that works.
All right, it looks like you have an error in the Go client that says no group found for group name or ID.
Yep.
So then we'll say, let's see here, we'll pipe this to this is going to return an option, I think. Let me just triple check that's an option. Yep, string option. So jump over here and we'll pipe this into option dot to result. And we need a none. Our none will go make an error for this, but we'll just say for right now, this will be a message of a string that says to do. This will format in a second. Let's see here. Expecting. What did I do wrong? Oh, right. We need closing. Expecting expression. None, a option to result. And where are we expecting an expression at? To the option to result, none. This message of to do. Oh, I think we have to do. Let's just do this on the next line before we pipe everything together.
Oh, wait.
Say group ID.
Really, Tej? Okay, so Stacking asked a question, do we hide all the spice in the Dune folder? And Tej chimed in, if you manage to make Dune panic, it does have some nice error messages.
It does. I ran into one of these error messages a couple weeks ago.
And you copied and pasted it?
It was the coolest thing. How do I make... Here, I'm just going to copy and paste it into here.
Sure.
This was the error I got from the Dune compiler.
Uncertainty is the mind killer. Nice, nice. I just responded to Stacking with fear is the mind killer. So there we go. Yep, Stacking sold. He found his next language.
Let's go. Yeah, I thought that was super cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I really like that.
Okay, so we have in. Let's just return a unit, get this type checked. Cool. So I think what we actually want to do here is an option.map. So actually, let's go make our error for this in our errors module. So this error would be like, I don't know, no group found, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, I don't think the messages are too important.
Is there a difference between a flag group and a group?
They're the same thing. Yeah. I need to maybe align a bunch of that messaging throughout all the SDKs.
Then we have an error for this already we can handle. So we can say this is going to be flag group not found. And we can then, let's see here, we can pipe that into option.map, and our function will be option.to result. Right there. Put this in some parens. That should hopefully. All right, what are we upset about now? Result option. Oh, we don't want to map though. There we go. That's what we want. Now we have our group ID or a flag group not found, and we want to return early. So that is a let at, if I remember correctly. We have to open our shared module, open syntax, and finally open let. Is that not in shared? Oh, I just have it right in our normal module. I'm used to my other project.
Ah, gotcha. So yeah, real quick, let me catch you up on some chat. Basically, Tej chimed in, people generally seem to have the right level of taking things seriously. Metame chimed in, I don't feel like I can really make the jump until there's enough drama to prove it's a real language. And then Tej simply says, well, better get in early, because after Prime does Advent of Code in it, and we get the D-Gen army joining, there will be drama.
Hell yeah. I cannot wait to watch Prime do Advent of Code in Ocaml. It's going to be nice to watch like the language just click more and more for him. A lot of the stuff he did early was just playing with like HTMX lightly and some just like early Advent of Code problems. But like once you get a groove for it, like it just turns into like being so much fun to write.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff feels like just a good type system version of Elixir. Like a lot of really cool functional ideas that, you know, if Elixir had a good type system, this is probably what it would look like.
Right? Does this like just feel so good to write right here? Like we got like, we're going to take our group table, we're going to try to find the key, and then we're going to turn that into a result that will be a flag group not found.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the whole function.
I will say there is something to the idea of not having types because, you know, I've spent a good like 3 or 4 days implementing some of the like the strictly typed SDKs, and I hammered out the majority of the code yesterday, like in one day, for the Elixir SDK. So there is something kind of nice about the loosey-goosiness.
What's nice is we do have types though.
Right.
They're inferred.
Yeah.
It's super nice.
Yeah, I think Elixir embraces the idea of just failing quickly.
Yeah.
So, you know, you get the errors in your terminal and you just fix them and you're done.
Then we need to get the feature ID. Let's get real feature ID. That's going to take a client, and this will be a feature ID or name. What has been your favorite client to write thus far?
I mean, depends on favorite. I don't know. Ooh, someone's saying that you're super quiet because I have you turned down over on YouTube. Yeah, sorry about that, Mike. The recording will be better. I always forget to change that here, though. So, should be better after that adjustment. I keep forgetting about that. So, thank you, Mike. I would say I hadn't actually used Rust's enums and their full power before. So making the Rust SDK and then like really just embracing the enum feature was really cool just for like the polymorphism and how some of that stuff worked.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, so we have our composite table. I think this is gonna start to show how we can start piping some stuff together here. So we're gonna pipe our composite feature table into lookup.composite feature table.find, and the key is a group ID, right? Actually, we need to get our group ID first. So let's say group ID or name. We'll pipe that into get real group ID.
Now, this could be a thing where, since we're going to be using these kind of internally, like inside of like a top level get everything function, we could assume that the group ID has already been rationalized rather than needing to call the function again. It's an option. I'm not sure if it's a performance hit or anything, but something we could do.
So you're saying we just assume we have a group ID here?
Yeah, that's doable. That's the way I'm kind of like doing the internals of the get real IDs function. In a lot of cases. So, yeah.
Let's see here. Okay, we'll assume we have a group ID then and see how that comes out. And we don't have to do this. And we'll do client.composite feature table. That will be a group ID. And result flag not found. We probably want to better error message than that. It will be like feature not found.
Yep.
Feature not found. Let's go add that to our errors module so we don't forget about it. And it's going to make us write a toString.
Oh, and I missed some follows. Let me shout those out real quick. Cherry Heart, Chasir, and Herman. Thank you for the follows. And Nowhere Mark. Yeah, thanks. Welcome, everyone. How's it going out there, Standard?
Okay. Jump back over here. Center that. So we have our feature ID. So this is going to return us. Let's see here. I just want to do a function x to x. This should be a feature table now. Look up feature table. Yep. So then we pipe that to a result. And then we can pipe again. And this should be our result. So we can map on the result or we can bind on it. But we are going to then look up the, we need to look up the feature, I guess, right? So this would actually be no feature found, no environment found.
Oh, hold on.
So
no. So that would be group not found as the error or flag. It's group not found, really. That's the error that we would have. So yeah, and then you would have to do the lookup for the feature later. So yeah, good call. I spaced.
So let's we're gonna open infix. Yep. I'll do let. So our infix module. Unbound value option. Oh, right. That's interesting. Okay. Let's think about how we want to do this. We can say option.map or result. We're working with a result now. .map. If we have a function x to x, we're probably going to need to bind, actually, which is fine. This should be our lookup table. Right. And then let's just say let the typical bind operator in Ocaml is, and in Haskell, I think too, is just like greater than equal. And binding is like, I'll explain the difference between map and bind because these are like two super common things in Ocaml and functional programming languages. So mapping is basically a function. Let's say you're working with a result type. If you map on a result type, it's just it's similar to mapping on an array in JavaScript or anything else. But if you map on a type, you basically you operate on the underlying value inside the result, right? So we could let's say it's an integer. We could call map add 1, and we just return an integer. The map function under the covers will rewrap that in a result for us. Where bind does the opposite. Bind, you give it a function that returns another result. That's just the difference between the two. They both kind of do the same thing in letting you chain operations on some type, where map returns a raw value and the function boxes it for you, and bind, you do it yourself.
Okay.
And we're going to need to use bind here because we're going to call lookup.featureTable.find. We're going to get an option back, and we're going to turn that option into a result. So we're returning another box type, and we don't want a box inside a box. So we're going to bind. So bind lets us basically prevent boxes inside of boxes.
Gotcha.
Or as TJ would say, burritos inside of burritos.
Nice.
And that, y'all, is your lesson on monads. That's literally all a monad is bind and map. Doesn't have to be too difficult.
Okay.
So if we do our bind operator here now.
So, I mean, isn't technically the result and option kind of stuff like a monad as well?
Both option and results are monads.
Okay.
Yep. I was trying to come up with a clever way to kind of teach monads by like writing some like really hardcore, not even hardcore, but some super verbose like Java enterprise thing and calling it like chainable context pattern, being like, check out my favorite gang of 4 pattern. But I'm still shopping that.
Okay. It works.
So you can see where we bind here now, we get the raw value inside the monad or the result type. So before, just as a demonstration, if we just do a normal pipe operator, our x to x will have our result type. And if we did map instead, that's the typical map operator. And we do, let's do map. Oops, where is it? Boom, boom, boom. Function x to x. You'll see again, if we do that.
They really like their fancy operators.
They do. I don't know why. Let's see here. Not sure why that's upset now, but we're just going to undo some changings. But it should effectively be the same thing as bind, where you get the unboxed value inside. So we have this now, and we're going to use, this will be our feature table. So let's rename that feature table. And we will say, lookup dot feature table dot find, and the key will be feature ID or name, and we'll pass in the feature table. That gives us an option, and let's turn our option into a result. And this is going to be feature not found. Okay. We can clean this up too, because this is starting to be a little bit hard to read. Mm-hmm. But if we assign this to a variable, it should be our group ID for the feature.
Mm-hmm.
Or it should be the actual feature ID. I'm sorry. This will be feature ID. So that's all we needed, right? Was where you need to get the feature ID out of this?
Yep.
Okay. The other way we could write this, we can see if it looks any more readable, is rather than writing it like this, we could just pipe and say result.bind. And this will take a function where this will be our, let's see here. This will be our lookup table result.
And MetaMe, I didn't expect you to remember that, right? Because we went and looked at Zig at one point and realized that their date time library didn't support daylight savings time, and I decided wasn't really like ready for making one of these SDKs yet. But yeah, MetaMe just nailed it with the daylight savings time joke about Zig, you know, just needing a library that supports it. It's clean.
So then this, I think it's going to be more readable this way.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
So we'll leave it like this for now. We can delete there. And okay, so that function should be complete. Which isn't too bad, but we can, this will probably be something I honestly go through and clean up.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, environment ID is going to be almost like a copy and paste of that one. Just replacing feature with environment.
Environment. I spell that wrong like every time.
Yep, same. Environment is the one I typically do by
where
typo
is
mistake.
there? Unused open Vexilla let. Okay. Okay, we didn't use that either. Okay, everything's type checking there. So we've got our real group ID, our real feature ID. Okay, so now we should be able to do like let get real IDs.
Mm-hmm.
And for these functions, we can hide these in an interface function so they're not like exported or available.
Okay, yep.
So let's take a client, and then let's take a group name or ID. Name or ID. And it'll take a feature name or ID equals, and we have to get our real group ID first, right? Let at group ID. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, now we do need open syntax, open let. So we should have that. And then we want to get our feature ID next.
Mm-hmm.
Which that should just work. And to get, how do we get our environment?
So there's basically on the client, we have already set what the environment name or ID could be. And then we just need to do the rationalization of that.
Okay. Okay. Let's see here. I'm going to change this type to be ID of string or name of string.
Sure.
And that will help us. So now we do let at, I could type, get real environment ID, and this will be client. And what's interesting here is we don't even need to pass in this because we can actually get it off the client.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, touche.
And these are group ID, which we have. And then we're going to return, we have this thing called a real IDs, and we can just return a tuple. Yeah. Okay, that's that function. I'm pretty pleased with that.
Yeah.
And if any one of these returns an error, it just immediately exits. That's what our little let at operator does. Cool. That looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I dig
that's
that.
clean. That composes really well. I like that.
Sweet. So then we had to do, what was it, like get raw features too?
Yeah. So hold on. Get raw feature is only necessary because we don't have polymorphism in Go.
Okay. Let me look at the TypeScript.
Yeah, we might not have like a raw feature like table to look this up.
Let me bubble back up to the should function to see what we actually have to do here.
And yeah, there is that typo for environment.
Oh no.
yeah.
Oh no. Where is it?
Line 55. So number 3 from where you're at now. No, next one.
Oh, thank God it wasn't meta.
Yeah. No, he actually shouted it out earlier. He said classic DM typo. So yeah, meta saw it first.
Typos.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So I'm gonna pull up the code for the should function in TypeScript. I guess would be a good one to look at. Oh my God. There we go. Clients. JS source client. We want to get should this.get actual items. Its actual items effectively the same thing as our real IDs.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
It's probably like even further abstracted to not do the real IDs, but to still do like the easy lookup for us. So yeah, it's like resolving the feature as well, but in functional languages and stronger typed languages, it was just easier to do the IDs separately. So we may want to do a get feature of some kind. Let me think about how we're.
Also, what does the should function do at a high level? What is the purpose of the should function?
That is the main bread and butter of a feature flag tool, seeing if a user should be able to do something within a block, right? So if Vexilla.should and then feature name, right? Things like that.
I'm going to turn on my space heater. I've got like mad cold air coming down on me. 1 second.
Take your time. Yeah. I'm jealous of that. It's still hot where I'm at.
Okay. I got a little space heater beside me because I've got like one vent in my house that I need to like adjust, but it spits out the coldest air in the house.
Nice.
All right. So we're basically saying we're switching on the feature type. Should ends up being, what do we do down at the end? Are we coercing this to a Boolean?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So when it's a toggle type, that value is a Boolean. So we're not coercing it, but we're just waiting to return it till the end.
Okay, cool. So that would be an easy one to work with. So let's say let should. And should is going to take a client, a group name or ID. I need to fix this. I have this spelled differently. Group name or ID. And I want that to be group
ID or name, right? Because it's like alphabetized. I like that.
Where's it? Shift R. Leader, capital R, replace all. Did that work? No? Did it not work? Guess not. The Spectre doesn't want to work. We'll just do a rename.
So is Spectre just like a big find and replace tool? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Global find and replace in a project.
Okay.
So
yeah, there's a lot of like
name.
NeoVim extensions or plugins that I'm just unfamiliar with.
That was one I only found like a week or two ago. I try to keep my plugins to like a minimum. I try not to go wild. I mean, I still have like a fair amount of plugins, but like I know exactly what every single plugin is doing, and it serves like an actual purpose in like a day-to-day workflow.
Right.
So we get a feature ID or name. I'm not going to let Copilot do that. In fact, I'm just going to disable Copilot. Okay, feature ID or name. And in here, we're going to have to get our IDs. So let's say let group ID, feature ID, and environment ID equals get real IDs. And that'll be our client. And our group ID or name and our feature in. And we'll say just for now, okay, group ID. We need to let at that.
Okay, I was gonna double check like where is this happening that we're doing the at, but there it is. Bam, cool.
So that will bubble up any one of our underlying. I need to write a note here. Actually, let's just go add this to our errors before I forget.
Sure.
Down here, that'll be.
Thank you for the follow, Vicente. Welcome.
Okay. That's a real error now that we can handle. All right, so we got our group ID, we got our feature ID, and we have a environment ID.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to get our feature. So
right.
Where do we store our features?
Yeah, on our group, do we have environments? And are environments holding all that stuff? I'm just trying to remember how we did some of this.
So our type T has an environment ID or name. We have flag groups, which that's not going to be useful. We have our group table. Which
so I think it actually is flag groups because the environments are contained within each flag group because you can have different environments per group.
Ah, there it is.
Yep.
Sure enough.
All right.
I actually might switch this to be one of our lookup tables rather than a hash table. Key value. Yeah, so it should ideally we have an environment table. But it's not by
so
ID.
I think environment table there is actually the.
It's the like.
No, you're right. Yeah. I was thinking about like the composites, and this is not composite. So yeah, good call. Yep, that works. I think the key though is the environment table there is actually mapping to a string value at the end, whereas the environment table that we're looking for here actually has an environment at the end.
Ah, right. So what would you come up with a name for these like by ID or names? I mean, I guess we can use a hash table too. That's probably fine.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, those ones are really like the lookup tables, technically, because it's just to like resolve a string for us.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. So let's jump back. So our group is going to have the environments on it.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to get it out of the flag groups. I guess, yeah, I'm using a hash table here anyways for flag groups to keep it simple. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to get environments equals, it's going to be hash table dot find option, and find option takes a hash table as the first argument. Let me close this aside. That'll be our client dot flag groups. Yeah.
Yep.
Flag groups. And then it takes probably a key. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that will be an environment ID, right?
So flag groups is going to be group ID first, right?
Oh, right. So this is really going to be our environments hash table.
Not quite.
It wouldn't be?
No. My bad. I misunderstood what you were doing there. Yeah. I was thinking of like the other stuff. Yeah.
So that's our group table. And then we can pipe that into option.map. And we can say hash table dot find opt. So actually be a bind. So So let's just do this on another line for now, so we don't have to bring in our infix operators. And then we'll say let environment equal hash table dot. Here we can just inline option dot bind. And we'll bind our environment hash table, and then we pass in a function. This X should be.
And now I think I see what you're saying. Where like, yeah, I was thinking about like get raw feature versus just get feature. Get feature might take some of this stuff because there's going to be another function called value that we want to look at some point too. That's going to do a bunch of this same logic, but it's a different kind of like feature flag top level function. So yeah, what we're doing here in should, like a lot of this boilerplate where we're getting the feature could actually just be part of a get feature function.
Okay, that will be useful. We'll break that out here in a second once we get it written.
Yep.
So this is our types.group. That makes sense. So let's just get our group out to start. Not do anything too crazy. So we'll rename this. This will be a group. And maybe we don't want to bind. Maybe we do want to map. If we map, is this an option? It is. So if we map, we get, or wait a second. This is a hash types group.t. Is that what that should be? Yeah, we got a group out. Okay. Mm-hmm. The group has a environment on it. I'm getting my types mixed up here.
Yep, no worries.
All right, so let's look here. So we need a way to, okay. I'm just going to copy this type and comment it so I have it for reference, so I don't have to keep jumping back and forth since my font's so large.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. All right. So we actually do want to bind now that I think about it, because we're going to return another option. Mm-hmm. So we'll do in here hash table dot find opt, and that takes a hash table which will be group dot environment. Yep. And then we need to pass it a key, which will be the environment ID. Yep. I'm just gonna. So now that should be a environment option. There we go. Mm-hmm. Cool. And then from our environment, what does our environment have on it?
So the environment then has features and
another hash table.
Its name and ID. Yeah. It's kind of deep.
Yeah, we can definitely write some helper functions, and I have some like ideas that I'm gonna stew on about probably refactoring the lookup tables again, but let's see what happens. So now we have a group. This actually isn't a group anymore. This is our environment. Environment, and we'll say in fact, we should probably, rather than binding, the better thing to do would be do early returns on not finding it. So we'll pipe this to a result, and we'll do the same thing as above. If we don't find it, we'll say environment not found. So now this should be our hash table, and we can get rid of option.bind. Should be able to do that. And then effectively the same thing here. Pipe that into option.toResult, none. And I guess this would be group not found, flag group not found. We're looking at flag groups. Yeah, that would be flag group not found.
Yes. Yep.
And this would be environment not found. What do I have wrong here? Oh, right, we need that.
Oh, right.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's a hash table. This is a hash table. Or no, it's not. What did we do wrong there?
Wait. So you're just getting the group. So environment's hash table is actually the group. And then environment's hash table dot environments is the one that we're looking for, right?
Ah, so
Right.
yeah,
So
you're
environment's
right.
hash
So,
table should probably just be called group.
group. You're right. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
And this will be group dot environments.
Yep.
So that should be our environment then. Well, the result. Now that's our environment. Okay. And then our environment has features on it.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll do, I'm assuming that's a hash table.
Yep.
Hash table.find opt. I might actually like write a hash table.find result and just skip this whole line
Sure.
at some point.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Environment dot features. Yep. Okay. And we're going to look for feature ID, which I have underscored. I'll go rename that. And that will pipe into, again, option dot to results. None. And we'll give this a different error. I guess this will be feature not found. In. And then we have our feature.
Yep.
Okay. So let's just underscore that. And do you think it'd be worthwhile? You said we're going to do this a couple times.
There's one more place
a
at least
feature?
that we're going to do it, as far as I can remember. Yes.
All right. Well, that's probably worthwhile.
Right.
having.
That's a lot of boilerplate to write again, you know.
Let get feature, and then we'll take a client, basically the same signature, and we can paste that in. Oh, of course. And we can actually just do that.
Yeah.
Well, why is that upside down? So Think's feature ID is a string. And
See,
find.
yeah, feature ID. Okay. Yep.
Do I have to, let me try something real quick.
Yeah, wouldn't this want to be like the type of like ID technically, right?
It should be fine because
Okay.
we're doing the same thing like here.
Right. Yeah, true.
So that's a Vexilla types environment .id. And this is it's a feature key. I typed this differently. That's why.
Right, because
So
we
let's jump
haven't
back to
messed
our
with
types.
the underlying like raw hash table yet.
Types. Okay. Environment has a feature key. Right. Okay, actually, I know exactly what to do here. So we know it's an ID. So we just come over here and let me back up.
Sure.
And explain. So we have this type feature key, and we're gonna backtick this again. So this is a polymorphic variant, so we don't have to like import namespaces or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And we know at this point we're dealing with the real ID. Like we know we've gotten an ID out of our lookup table. So what we can effectively do is we can index into our hash table using this ID polymorphic variant because we know it to be true that it is an ID.
Mm-hmm.
So we can come back to our error and we can say backtick ID, and we can wrap that in parens, and that should be happy. Yep. Perfect. Does that make sense why that worked?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and then calling it would just be get feature inside of like the should function.
That would be get feature. And we just passively down, just yank the equal, paste that in, go back to our utility, in, right, just say we'll return our feature. Okay, so now we have our feature, and this is where we can do some fun matching, right? We basically here just need to like match on our different feature types and figure out like get them to a Boolean, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so we'll say match feature with, and I forget our feature type, so I'm going to split this open.
And right, we don't even have to match on the feature type itself because that can be part of like our case statement instead, right? Like in Elixir, I could just match upon the shape of something while just passing like the whole object to it.
So types are nominally typed in Ocaml, so it's not structurally typed, so we can't match on that. So we still have to explicitly match on these.
Okay, so then it would probably be feature.feature type then, right?
It will be yes. So we can actually come up here and we can just do a local open. So we'll do let open types feature. Now all those constructors are in scope, and we can say toggle. And this will be toggle. And we'll just return a unit for now. Just say okay. And what are the other ones? Gradual, same deal.
Oh yeah. Okay, I see what's going on. Yep. Selective, and then value would be like an automatic false or possibly an error, depending on how we want to do that.
Okay.
Because value is only used within like the value function that we'll create later.
Okay, so we'll say an error, and we'll just say give ourselves a little to-do message here. To-do handle its error. Okay, I'm gonna toggle diagnostics just so we get rid of some noise here. So when we get a toggle, our toggle type has attributes, a value, and a bool. So do we just return the value in the case of toggle?
Yep.
Cool. So we'll say toggle.value. And for gradual, we have a value that's an int and a seed. Is this where we use our hasher?
So hold on. I think we want value there to be a float. That's something that I've fiddled with in other things too. So value there is a float, not an int.
Okay, we can go change that.
Or in the gradual, not the toggle.
Oh, I see. So that is a float now. Okay. And let me look at our Go code. So if the seed is less than or equal to 0, or the feature seed is greater than 1, so we want it to be some value between 0 and 1. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, where am I even checking for that? Hold on. Now I need to check what I'm doing.
I can bring the code over.
Yeah, let me see this. Oh, right. So that's what the TypeScript is doing. I don't actually have that check anywhere else.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on the fence on if it's even a valid test. Like, I don't know. I don't think it matters, actually. I mean, we do want it... I don't know. Like, the UI should never give someone a chance to do that.
Okay.
For configuring these. So I'm not sure if I actually needed that.
Well, we can skip it for now.
Yeah, I think we're good on that part.
So actually, let's keep looking at this. So ignoring this part, we have this custom instance hash, which I assume that's on our client.
Yeah, that's like the custom instance ID or the instance ID technically on the client.
Okay. So we need one of those. So we'll have to do some validation there. And then we want to, so we already have our feature, get instance percentile.
So that's basically the hashing that we're doing.
Okay. Do you see this font here? What is GitHub doing?
Oh, that is weird. Yeah.
All right. So we get our hasher, we hash it to a string, and we use our instance ID with the seed. Okay.
Yeah, so I think I actually have a lot I need to add to the JS client after working with some others. So that'll be something that I probably need to go back and update.
Okay. So we have our gradual. Let me split our gradual type out again over here.
Yeah, so basically the way it works is we want to hash the instance ID that is usually a string, but it could be a number, so we may need a function to convert that number to a string. That might be something for later. But realistically, we just want to make sure that the value we get between 0 and 1 from our hashing function is less than the actual like feature.value.
Okay, that makes sense. So we are going to take we should have our client here, right? So we'll say let instance ID. Let me make sure we just have that instance ID. That is an ID. Cool, that's nice. We're already enforcing that on our client. We have an instance ID.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yep. Okay.
Yeah, so that's where what we're doing here in should. That's why I kind of had like the inner should function as well, which was like the should with custom string or whatever, because our top level should is going to use the one that we have on the client, whereas should custom allows us to pass a new one in, but really should custom can just be called with the one that we have on the client later.
Okay. I got a little confused following that, but
okay, no worries, it's fine. We can implement this one and use the one, and then like the refactor will be pretty simple.
Okay, cool. So we then want to say we get a hasher. So let's open our, oops, didn't mean to do that, our hash. And that takes a seed ID and an instance ID. Okay, so we're just going to straight up hash. So we can say our hash is going to be hash dot hash string instance ID. Take the seed, which the seed is off the gradual, feature. Right?
Yep.
Gradual.seed.
Oh, and I see what the matching is doing now. It's actually giving us a new variable to work with. I missed that part where you did toggle.value. Okay, that makes sense.
So we get the underlying like box data. I think Rust works the same way with enums.
Yep.
From the little bit of Rust I've read.
Yeah, Elixir would do the same thing too. Like in your case statement for Elixir, you're actually giving it like a new variable that you're like assigning whatever you're matching onto.
This is like after working in a language with good pattern matching, like going back to like TypeScript is just so painful, or like going to Go. And I know there's like the TC39 proposal for pattern matching in JavaScript, but it's still just not the same.
Right.
Like even the spec they're working towards, like I'll be happy to have it, but it's not the same.
It's still better than a switch statement in JavaScript, though.
That's 100% true. Don't get me wrong. I'll be thrilled when it lands, but it still leaves some to be desired.
Yep.
So we get an int64 now.
Have you looked at TS pattern at all yet?
I have.
Okay. Cool.
I do like TS pattern too.
Okay. Yeah, the stuff that Aiden from Million.js did to like have, or I guess he worked with someone else who did it, but they made basically like an optimizing compiler for it. So like you don't even have a runtime overhead of running TS pattern. When you compile, it'll actually turn into the resulting JavaScript. So yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I did not know about that. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah,
that's
really
cool. So you just like include that as like a Vite plugin or a rollup plugin or something.
I think so. I'm not sure of the exact mechanism. I'm gonna guess that it's Vite specific.
That's so dope. That's really sick.
It could even be a TSC kind of thing. Actually, I'm not positive on that. Like a TypeScript compiler extension. I don't know. I'd have to look.
Oh, Ron's on. Ron, it's like 3 a.m. where you're at, buddy. Okay, so we get our hash. What do we do with our hash then? We check if it's less than...
we check if it's less than the seed. Or not the seed, the gradual dot value.
So we'll say hash... so that's an int64. So we want to say gradual.
Ooh, wait, we made hash an int64. It should have been a float. So I think I messed up when I was giving you the pattern that it should follow.
I'm gonna rename this too to just hash instance ID. And then, yeah. So you said this needs to be a float?
Yeah. So I mistook that part when we were making it. But yeah, I'm just...
Okay.
Every SDK, treat it as a float, get a float out, and then it's consistent at least.
So we have our base, which should be a float. And we just do float.rem base 100.0. Okay, easy enough. We should return a float now. Yep, seed float, instance ID, and we get a float out.
Ooh, so it would be base 100 and then divided by 100. Right, so we get the remainder after doing a modulo, basically, and then from there we want to turn it into a value between 0 and 1.
Okay, so then we do this. Rem, and then we'll say, I can pipe that into div 100.
Yep.
Cool.
I do need to use the restroom real quick and get some chicken thawing for dinner. So, right, feel free to keep hacking on. If you want to take a break too real quick, go for it. But yeah, I got to go pee.
I will entertain the chat.
All right, thank you. BRB.
What up, chat? What up, Meta and Rond? Is anyone feeling inspired to write some Ocaml? If anyone does like the Ocaml content, I do stream every morning, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9:30 East Coast time. So if you're up around that time, check it out. Sometimes we work on NeoVim stuff. I'm actually going to be helping TJ write the Primogen's new React site. I'm going to help TJ build a component library in Ocaml in HTMX for Prime's React site. So that's going to be something I'm going to be streaming pretty regularly. Lewis Block said your Spotify API is different. What do you mean by different? A React site that isn't made in React. Exactly, Rond. Actually, while I have chat held captive, let's go take a look at what this component library might look like. We go look at React. This will be the Reactogen. You can vim into here. And then where I was working, I think this is pretty cool. I just got news that one of my games I played for the past 7 years or so is removing player-to-player trading. RIP. Classic OSS marketing. I'll show my work. So what's pretty cool, let's imagine this is all server rendered chat. Let's say we have a card component, right? We can say we got this make function. This is almost like React's render function. You can think of it the same way. You can pass in classes, you can pass in children. We're going to render a div, merge our classes in, render the children. Synx123 asks, could you please tell me what function you do for renaming functions and variables? Well, the global find and replace one, this one over here is nvim-specter, and the one where I just do something like this, that's just my LSP. So that uses like, I configure it using nvim LSP config or whatever the like standard LSP packages you'll find everywhere. Lewis said, just joking. Usually I watch you do your Spotify/Apple Music thing. Oh, well, I appreciate you watching, Lewis. So we have a couple examples of building out these components, right? You can see we have a basic button. We have types on it, such as size, variance, our base classes. We derive new classes from our variants, classes from our size. We can merge our props together, and then we can spit out a button with our merged attributes. Same with topography. My Emacs looks weird. Yeah. I have a really custom Emacs config. And then what this looks like all composed together. So we have this confirm delete card, which composes multiple together. And it looks almost just like React, but in Ocaml. Yeah, I renamed my Emacs config to Vim, for sure.
Nice.
I was just showing chat the Ocaml HTMX stuff I was working on for TJ and Prime.
Cool.
All right.
New crypto coin? Of course, man.
Yeah, I've been trying to market my Camel coin. $1 billion idea.
Right? No big deal. All right.
So then we just say, is our hash, which is now a float, should be a float. Oh, right. We need to pass in our, I toggled my diagnostics. This needs our client.instance ID in.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This should be a float now. Right?
Yeah.
C float ID to A. I think Dune. Oh, I know what I did wrong. I need to do
Oh, the
.0.
dot zero. Yep. That one gets me in Rust all the time too.
Let's pop that down. So we've hash. That will eventually be a float. Let me toggle diagnostics back on. Vexilla hash. What do we call it? It should be hash.
Yeah, I thought so.
That should be fine. Do we still have errors in here? No. I wonder if there's like a hash module in the standard library that we're getting some sort of weird naming collision with.
Oh, okay. That would make sense.
Let's just say underscore that and we'll just return true. Or I guess okay true. And see if that resolves itself. It does not. Okay. Vexilla.hash, which is missing. Shouldn't be. What happens if we open hash? Now it's happy. Why can I not reference that? I'm going to go check if that is a standard library.
Sure.
Standard library. We have hash table. I don't think so. Oh, okay. Well, now it's happy. I don't really know what I changed, but sure.
Yeah, weird.
Okay, then we'll say, we'll just do let underscore hash needs to be less than or equal to feature dot value divided by 100.0.
Ooh, we don't need that anymore. Yeah, the 100.0 we're doing over in the hashing, so we should be set.
Right. Less than equal. Oh, it's gradual, right?
Oh, yep.
And then we can delete 0. We can say okay. And we delete that line. Up over here, delete word. Wrap that in parens. Okay, so we have gradual done. Easy.
Oh, yeah. Next up is selective, and we're just looking for a value in a list of other values, basically.
Okay, so let's go to our types, see what selective looks like.
Yeah, so value is like an array of the value.
Oh, yeah, it's this thing, right? It's a string list, an int list, or a float list.
Mm-hmm. So do we need to match on that as well?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So we'll say match selective dot value with. Did we already open feature? We did. So we should be able to just match on string list. Yep. String list, strings, I guess. And we'll just return a okay unit for now. Just type all these out. Int list. And then the final one will be
float.
Yep. One thing we could do is we could add like functions to our feature module to basically check the truthiness of a value for each of these, and then we can kind of like effectively handle that over here and just pass any feature in.
Gotcha.
So this will be float list, and that will be floats. Okay. And let me toggle the diagnostics again. All right. So we now have this list of things. And what are we looking for in particular in this list?
Instance ID inside of that list. So basically
Okay.
client.instance ID.
But instance ID can only be a string according to our types at the moment.
Correct, and we may need to fix that.
Okay. So we'll say list dot find opt, and we'll have a function where it's stir, and we'll say stir equals client dot instance ID, and the list will be strings, and then that will get piped into option dot to result. None will be we need to coexist to a Boolean, right? So we really want to do value. No, we want to fold, I think. None will be false. Some will just return. Yeah, okay. So none will be false. And then some will be this function that ignores the first value and just returns true.
Okay.
And we can say,
well, okay, yeah, right, because find is going to find the element itself, not whether it exists. Got it. Yeah, I forgot that.
So then we should say let x. Hopefully get some better formatting here. Let me turn my diagnostics back on. It's probably because these are, oh, that came down. That shouldn't have came down. Right. Let's comment those, and then we'll just say fail with, not implemented. That should kick back out to there. Down to there. And trying to match up all my parentheses here.
Sure.
Unused variable strings. Let's just take care of that. Should be used. Is it equal?
Oh, yep.
Test for physical equality of E1 and E2. Is it not just equal? Test for structural equality. Maybe it's string dot equal.
That could be it. Yeah, that
there
makes
it
sense.
is. Stir and client dot instance ID. And let's delete this out for now, just to try to work through some of these errors. Find opt. That should close that. What is this upset about? Let's just fail with here too. All right, now we're starting to get somewhere. That should be a function. Strings, jump right there. Okay, now X should be an ID option, right? Okay. Changing word, and we're gonna go back to folding this. We'll say our none is false. In fact, we could just say, well, yeah, we'll say false. And our sum is going to be a function that ignores the value and returns true. Just say in. Forgot the colon.
So sum always takes a function in the fold?
For fold. So
Okay.
the fold is basically going to like unbox our option,
Right.
and you give it a default none value, and then you give it a function to operate on the option value you pipe into it.
Okay.
Does that make
Cool.
sense?
Yeah.
So if we
yeah.
looked at what this was, this would be our string,
Mm-hmm.
even though this is ID.
Yep. And yeah, we don't care about the ID itself. We just want to see what it evaluates.
There we go.
So, yeah,
Finally got
sense.
some formatting back. Okay, and then the last thing we can do is we can come down here and we can pipe this into result.ok. And get rid of that. Get rid of that. Now that returns a result, just like our other ones. And yeah, that looks pretty good there. Let's get some better formatting. Can jump back to the beginning of the line, paste that, pipe that. Hopefully that pushes it down to the next line. Yep, beautiful.
Cool.
So that's our string list. All right, so now we're at the dilemma where I guess our instance ID can be of different types.
So it can only be that way if you're passing a custom value, right? So for the standard, right, our instance ID is a string, right, for the client itself. But there's a chance that you wanted to grab whether like a number was in the number list that you got, and that could be passed custom. So it would be something like should int, and then you would have like the custom int that you're passing as like the last argument. Should custom string would be like an override of our client.instance ID.
So I think I want to change to there, and we'll say make another polymorphic variant.
So I'm not sure we want to change that one though, because on the client, instance ID is always a string. Okay, maybe that's what you're doing. My bad.
Well, I was going to let this. We can give it a. What can we do here?
So the key is you wouldn't want to have to create multiple different clients, right? But you are going to have one instance ID that identifies that client specifically. And then there's just a separate function you might call inside of your consuming code that is should int or should float. And I think we have that over in the Go code. So that would probably make it a little more obvious versus the TypeScript.
So we'll pull this up, and then we'll go to should. We go to should custom string.
Right, and should custom string just takes in the client.instance ID because the heavy lifting is just whatever string we want to pass it.
Okay. Do you end up trying to parse that to, or I guess not parse, but coerce that to different values?
I just create a whole separate function. Yeah, so I end up throwing errors if you try and call an int or a float on the string function, right? So we have should custom int, should custom float, should custom string. And those are just values that you just pass in.
I have an idea.
Okay.
I have an idea. So we can say, are we working? So in should, let's say we have an optional parameter, which would be instance ID. And this will be the type.
Oh, and this could be the string int or float, and then we just match on that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we'll basically say, like, if this is a none value, like if it's not supplied, we're going to default to a string of client.instance ID.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. That works. Because then you don't need all the redundant code of the different functions, right?
Yep. String, and then we say it can be a int of int or a float of float. This pattern. Oh, right. It needs to be an option. Sure.
Oh, because it's optional. Duh. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
This, I'm just going to annotate this type for now. I'll probably go back through and I'm going to annotate all the types in our MLI files when it's done. So all the implementation code will be inferred, and then our MLI files will be all documented with types. And then the LSP for calling code will get the types from the MLI file. And you'll get compilation errors if your ML files don't directly match the types of the MLI.
Okay.
So you'll see here that like I'm just going to keep this typed as I work on the function and then delete it out once we can infer it.
Right, because it'll clean it up, like less noise.
Yeah. So one thing we can do here that will be pretty cool, I think, is we can say, we don't have to worry about matching on it till here. So we can say, how do we want to do this? We could shadow it, but I'll just do a backtick rather than shadowing. Let instance ID equal option.
So technically, though, we may end up wanting to match in the gradual as well, because right now we're hard coding client.instance ID in the gradual, but eventually we may want to have a hashing function that turns a number into a string that we can hash in the same way.
Sure. Yeah, we could definitely do that. Yeah, and like what you'll see here is how easy this is going to be. So we can use value. Option.value takes an option, which will be our optional instance ID, and it can take a default. So we'll pass in our instance ID, and our default will be string client.instance ID. And then we can do would we want to match here? Yeah. So we could do a double match on instance ID. And in our string list, we would want to match on this being a string. We'll just say ID. So now we have that ID. And we'll say change to their ID like that. Cool. And then we can say our int list will match int, and we'll say int ID, and we can effectively do the same thing, I think, right? Yeah, you can almost copy it verbatim. Ints, it should be an int list. Find, right now this should be int. And next we'll do float list. Floats, and we'll match on this when this is a float ID, and basically do the same thing. And this is the kind of thing that I'll probably end up moving into a helper function, or potentially like a helper function like in the selective type or something, just because it's so repetitive.
Right. There may end up being something we end up doing for value, like the value type that, maybe there's some abstraction there too. I'm not sure.
And then for any other option, they're like any other match is invalid. Like we would never want to match on a string list when the instance ID is like a float. Like this just would not be a thing we would want.
Yep.
So basically any other match, completely invalid.
Yep.
So we can come down and say any other match. This will be our fall through case. We will say result dot error. And that is a function. And we'll say, what do we want this to be? Invalid instance ID, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's our
maybe like invalid instance ID. Oh, that would be like the name of the error, and then we can define the message elsewhere. Is that how that works?
Yep, exactly.
Okay, cool.
Yep. I'm missing a paren somewhere. I think it's probably right there. Yep. And then finally with our value, that's just like invalid anyways right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's technically, I think I can delete this probably annotation now too. Yeah, I can. It's going to get inferred.
Cool.
So this is our first like match where we match on multiple values, which is pretty powerful. I think this is pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah, Rust, Elixir, like every good pattern matching tool has that, and it's awesome.
Yep.
I think I was missing it when I did some Go stuff because the Go like switch statement is not quite there.
Putting it lightly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that should be our should function. That feels really good, at least to me. Like,
Yeah.
I think this is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I think
the fact that we can squeeze all of it into one function is really, really cool, actually.
And then also, like I said, like we can split these out. Like we could even have like a function, right? Like we could write let find, I don't even know what you would call that. It's just called foobar. And you could
sure.
pass it I think you could use first class modules here where you can pass a module in as an argument to a function. So you could effectively pass in like string or int or what is the other one? Float.
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't even know how that works, but that'll be something I'll look into. But we could have a function where we effectively just pass these in the module and like it does the rest of this for us.
Yep.
But yeah, I think I don't think it makes a ton of sense to start something else for me
Sure.
given time.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
Yeah, this looks pretty good.
Yeah,
so
that was a
our
lot
function,
of progress right there. Yeah.
We take a client, we take an optional instance ID if we want to override it. We take our group table key, feature table key, and we'll get back a Boolean or one of these errors, which we have to fix this one at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and we have a way to turn all these error strings into friendly strings. So
cool.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, that went smooth. Yeah. And again, thank you so much for doing this. This is really cool. I'm learning a lot. I'd love to see what like the reason looks like after this. So that might be just like a fun thing.
Well, let's yoink this and go to melange.
Oh, because they can just munge it for us into like what it would look like, right?
Yep.
Cool.
What's up?
I'm just coming to say hello and good night. I'm going to bed.
I'm getting ready to be done, so I'll be up shortly.
No, you won't because don't forget trash goes.
I know, I have to take
and
out trash.
recycling.
Trash and recycling, chat.
Oh yeah, important.
Please don't let him forget because he's forgotten the past like 2, maybe 3 weeks in a row.
It hasn't been that bad.
So the trash is piling up.
Or
No, our trash is not piling up. Trash went last week. I took care of it.
yeah, because Wednesday morning at like 6 a.m.
No, that was the recycling.
No, because recycling didn't go last week. You bolted out of bed and went shit the trash and sprinted downstairs. I'm pretty sure the alarm went off.
Listen, it's fine.
I mean, the trash went. But,
Ron, the worst part is I do have a to-do list with a notification, which is one of these 4 red bubbles right there.
Nice.
So if we click to convert this to reason, it should just switched right over. So there's that whole function we just wrote as reason.
Awesome. Wow, that's really quick. And yeah, Akira, technically it's Ocaml, so he expects the garbage to be collected for him. Like automatically.
Yeah, exactly. Why would I ever collect my own garbage?
Yeah, come on.
So it
Awesome.
looks pretty similar. We just have
It really does, yeah.
more parentheses and some semicolons rather than the in word, but we switch instead of match. But otherwise it's like kind of almost identical.
It really is, yeah. I didn't think it would be that similar, but yeah. That's awesome.
That's kind of like why like a lot of people will say that like Ocaml syntax is pretty off-putting, and until you like your inclination would be to like reach for reason first, but then when you realize just like how similar they actually are after you can read Ocaml, it's like, well, why would I add the extra like tooling step to write reason syntax? I actually end up liking Ocaml more, just because of like not having to use so many parentheses. Like I've learned to just like read the lack of parentheses pretty easily now.
Right.
So this just feels noisy to me.
I think it makes sense. Yeah, it's more about like familiarity, I think. So,
yeah, I think Reason's a great way to get TypeScript people into the ecosystem, though.
Yeah,
and especially because JSX is built into Reason like natively, you can just like plop JSX into your code, and it's gonna compile.
That's awesome. Actually, that's really useful.
Yeah.
Are there good like web frameworks for Reason then?
Yeah, actually, Dave Sancho. Let me find his. Actually, I know I have one of his blog posts. Learning Ocaml in 2023. This is a good one that I'm just going to throw in chat. But he is doing a ton of work on maintaining the Reason React bindings.
Okay.
And he's also working, he got like React server components working with Ocaml and Reason. Like he goes wild. Server-side rendering in React. I think Primogen reacted to this article in stream.
Okay.
It's really good content. So if anyone's interested in learning about all this, and it actually server Reason React with Ocaml ended up blowing Bun and Node out of the water for server rendering React.
Really? Oh, that's kind of cool.
You can write, yeah, and like if you use Reason, you can just straight up write JSX still, and it feels super similar. So you're talking about 10.3 thousand requests a second with Bun, and 64.8 thousand with React, or not React, with Reason and Ocaml.
Yeah. Wow.
Super
okay,
cool
that's
article.
Crazy. Awesome.
Yeah, so one of my big gripes with React server components, well, still, but when they first came out, was that if you want to adopt them, it essentially necessitates having like this front end as a back end layer. You basically need some Node.js server sitting either as your full server, right? Like if you're a full TypeScript Node shop, like this isn't a problem for you. But like there's a ton of companies out there that don't have a lick of Node.js in their stack anywhere.
Right.
So you either have to opt into using a cloud provider like Vercel, or you suddenly have to have your backend devs. Well, maybe not even necessarily your backend devs. You have to have some engineers now introducing Node infrastructure to your stack. So like that was one of my big gripes, is like you have to introduce Node infrastructure. And for companies like where I work, where we do all Ocaml, we have like the one language and ecosystem where we can use React server components in a different language other than Node. So I think that's like a pretty compelling story.
It really is. Yeah, that's really cool.
Cool. Well, thank you all for sticking around and watching me ramble about Ocaml and write some code for a couple hours. Thank you as always, Chris, for having me on.
Cool. Yeah, thank you for taking the time. This is great.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, have a great rest of your night. And I'll see you next time. See you in stream maybe.
Perfect.
Soon. Yeah, cheers. All right.
Thanks, y'all. Have a good night.
All right. Yeah, that was awesome. Disconnect here. Yeah, that was legit. That was really cool. Oh, I'm going to send him a quick message about the trash. Boom, nailed it. Hey. All right, cool. Yeah, that was super fun. Let me just throw any old thing on here. Let me get to the right scene.
Swing, swing.
Ooh, and we can stop the recording. Yeah, super fun. I need to release these videos. I need to like do just the lightest amount of editing to get them up to YouTube. I think that'd be good stuff. I need to do it still for like the accessibility stuff we did too. But yeah, I just finished recording my talk for React Summit. I can finally let myself do any other like video stuff. So that'll be good. Let's see. So I think it's about 7:15. Probably not going to have enough time to dive into the Elixir stuff that much more. I mean, if we look at some of the code I had, if I can even find it. Let's just close this one for now. Oh, I don't even have that editor open. 1 second. Right, the part where we left off doing our Elixir code is number 1. Oh man, hold on. Okay, at the very least, we were able to install Elixir. Let me at least kick this off so it can run all night, because that's how Brew works. Maybe it'll be quick this time because we did the other stuff earlier. I doubt it. No, it looks like we're getting there. But yeah, so hopefully our editor tooling gets a little better. The part that we left off on was in our scheduler. Right, we've gotten our times. We haven't actually modified our times for like the different time types. So, yep, leaving off. Like cold brew coffee. Exactly. Nailed it. All right. Yeah. I'm thinking I need to eat some food. I probably need to get some work done tonight. We could play some games though. In fact, I probably don't need to get any work done tonight because tomorrow I go to Seattle JS, and that means it's going to be a shorter stream, so I might as well just not stream tomorrow. So I'll probably be over on Gaming Channel doing some co-working stuff tomorrow. And then Thursday, we come back in action, and I believe if Bad Cop's still trying to do it, we can start trying to implement a Bash or C++ implementation of the SDK, which could be kind of cool. Yeah. So I think tomorrow I'll see y'all over on Gaming Stream. I'll see all y'all over on Gaming Stream tonight too. Tonight I think we can game because of it then. And yeah, tomorrow get a bunch of work done. Go to Seattle JS. Thursday is Bad Cop session and gaming that night. Because Bad Cop's going to be joining at about 1 o'clock, I think. That means we got a good like 4-ish hours maximum-ish. I don't know how long they want to take, but yeah. Yeah, 4 hours is a long time. So probably not the full 4. But at least it gives me time to play games and do some Baldur's Gate on Thursday night. So who do we go raid? How about that? And I see Space Drive going. Jamie Pine. It's an option. They're actually launching? Did they update? Hold on. Did they update their roadmap? Because we went and looked at their roadmap, and the last time it was updated was a long fucking time ago. I'm curious about that. Nope, they did not update the roadmap. Jamie Pine is streaming right now saying Space Drive launch day. which is interesting. But yeah, let's go raid the Coppinger. Oh, we see ending with Allie going too. Haven't had a chance to raid her in ages. She's over in science and technology too, which is interesting. All right, so real quick, what's everyone thinking? The Coppinger or ending with Allie? Anyone got a preference? Shout it out. So we got one for Allie, we got one for Copper. I could always flip the Happy Gilmore coin. Anyone else want to chime in? Here's the thing. Allie is rarely going at this time. The Coppinger is typically going at this time. So I'm thinking ending with Allie. Let's do it. Never seen Allie before? Oh, cool. Yeah, so she's doing some kind of AI thing. Probably mostly just chatting, but that's kind of what we do anyway, so no big deal, no judgment. I'm going to eat some chicken tacos tonight. I don't think they're quite thawed yet, so we're going to just hang out gaming-wise, maybe do some gaming while we're waiting. We'll figure out what we're doing. I don't know yet. But I'll see some of y'all over on Gaming Channel, and I'll see the rest of y'all maybe on Gaming Channel tomorrow or over here. So yeah, let's go raid ending with Allie and see what's going on. Is she talking to her roommate or something? Okay, yeah, that's what that is. All right, so let's go say hi, and I'll see some of y'all over on Gaming, and I'll see the rest of y'all on Thursday. So have a good one, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your night.